All right, let's dive into something that could be a total revolution in how AI learns. This is coming straight from researchers at MIT, and it's a new framework called SEAL. Honestly, it might just fix one of the biggest headaches in AI today.
So let me just start by asking a pretty wild question. What if a large language model, an LLM, could actually learn the same way you and I do? Not by being force-fed the entire internet in one go, but continuously, learning one new thing at a time.
Well, you know what? That's not just a hypothetical anymore. These researchers at MIT are building an AI that does pretty much that. It actually takes its own notes and then teaches itself. It's wild. Now, the core idea here sounds really simple, but don't let that fool you. It's incredibly profound. This isn't just some minor software update we're talking about. No, this is a fundamental shift in how we even think about AI knowledge. We're talking about moving from a model that's static and stuck to one that can truly grow and evolve.
And to really get why this is such a big deal, we need to talk about the problem it's solving. See, today's most powerful AIs are, and this is not an exaggeration, basically frozen in time.
Yeah, this comparison really nails it, right? Current LLMs have this static knowledge base. Once they're trained, that's pretty much it. But us, we're learning all the time. We adapt, we build on what we already know. LLMs just can't do that, at least not yet.
So, why can't they? Well, they keep running into these three huge walls. First, trying to update them, what's called fine-tuning, is unbelievably expensive. It's like trying to rebuild an entire skyscraper just to add one new window. Second, sure, you can give them search tools, but that's like letting them Google something. It's a temporary fix. It doesn't actually change what they know. And finally, their short-term memory, the in-context learning. It's tiny. It's like trying to read a whole book through a keyhole. It just doesn't work.
Okay, so with all those problems laid out, let's look at how this new framework, SEAL, comes in with such a simple and, frankly, beautiful solution. It really all comes down to one thing: teaching the AI to act like a really good student.
So what exactly is SEAL? Well, it stands for Self-Adapting Language Models. And in plain English, it's just a framework that lets the model generate its own training data and its own update instructions. Basically, it's taking control of its own education.
And here's the really elegant part. The model isn't using some fancy external new tool. It's literally using its greatest strength, generating text, to fix its biggest weakness, that static memory. It creates this amazing self-correcting, self-improving loop.
So, how does it work? It's a really simple three-step cycle. First, it encounters new information. Step 2, rewrite. This is the magic part. It creates what they call self-edits, which is basically rewriting the new info into its own perfect set of study notes. And finally, step 3, update. It uses trial and error, a process called reinforcement learning, to absorb that knowledge from its own notes. So, encounter, rewrite, update. Simple as that.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in practice? Well, let's get to the data, because the results the MIT team got are, and I'm not kidding, absolutely stunning.
Okay, just look at this comparison for a second. The researchers put a pretty small 7 billion parameter model using SEAL up against synthetic data that was created by the massive GPT 4.1. The result? The little SEAL model actually beat it in accuracy. That is a huge deal.
And if that wasn't enough to blow you away, check this out. When they tested it on complex reasoning tasks, SEAL hit a success rate of 72.5%. This isn't just about memorizing facts anymore. This shows it's actually getting better at thinking. And to put that number into perspective for you, the previous benchmark for this kind of thing was only 20%. So we're not talking about a small improvement here. This is a massive, game-changing leap in capability. And maybe the best part of all, it does all of this super efficiently. It uses a technique called LoRa, which lets it make these small targeted updates instead of having to do a full, expensive retraining every time. Think of it like swapping out a single page in a book instead of reprinting the entire thing. It makes the whole process powerful, but also really practical. So what we have here is a powerful, efficient new way for AI to learn continuously. Let's just zoom out for a minute and talk about why this could potentially change everything for the future of AI. You see, there's this huge challenge coming for the entire AI industry. People are calling it the data wall. Some experts are predicting that we are literally on track to run out of high-quality human-generated text to train these models on. And it could happen as early as 2028. We desperately need a new source of good data. And this is exactly where a system like SEAL becomes so critical. It points to a future where AIs can stay up to date without costing a fortune, where they can adapt to specialized fields like medicine or finance on their own. And, this is the big one, where they can generate their own high-quality training data. That helps us climb right over that data wall.
A quote from the researchers themselves just sums it all up perfectly. They say this isn't just about better RAG, which is basically just a fancy search engine for an AI. No, this is about creating LLMs that genuinely learn and evolve in a way that starts to look a lot more like how we do it.
And that really leaves us with one final, pretty mind-bending question. Could these self-adapting models, like SEAL, be the key that finally unlocks truly intelligent, continuously learning AI systems? It's a fascinating thought, and this research, well, it might just be the first giant step in that direction. Thanks for tuning in.